Beliefs, our values, our traditions play such a big role in our lives. And I think sometimes we don't even really realize it. They're just kind of baked in. And the more I have worked with sustainability and green, I have learned how much that really corresponds with people's beliefs and their values and even our traditions. And, holiday traditions coming and year-round traditions coming and new traditions coming. So how does this all impact how we live and how this whole sustainability, climate change, and big stuff, how does this all connect? Living green or sustainably is about more than saving on your electric bill and doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about a safer and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, play, and work. The Everyday Green Home Podcast helps you get the value of green for you, your family, and your community. Whether it's green homes, green living, or the people who make it happen, join me, Marla Esser Close, to learn how green and sustainability practices and products work for you and our world. Hey y'all, I'm Marla, the Green Home Coach, and I want to thank you for joining me on the Everyday Green Home Podcast and getting hopefully some different perspectives on all kinds of things relating to our homes, how we live in them, how we live their homes, but how we live in them and what we think really impacts all this. And one of the things that I really want to focus on today as we led into is this whole idea of beliefs and values, and to some degree traditions, because I think that really grows out of those beliefs and values. But, I think so many times we just kind of do, and we don't realize why we do. And that can play a big part. And we're going through a shift right now in our culture where things that people think about in mainstream lines of thinking are changing. And this whole notion that started as green, as eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, when I got into the market 15-ish years ago, has really advanced. And I was listening to an ad the other day or reading an article, and it was all about the environmentalists. And it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way because it's really peopleist. I know I made that word up. Peopleist, though, but think about this. All of this is about people. What is happening with climate change affects people. What is happening with social injustice is people. What is happening with waste ultimately affects people. And how our health is impacted by chemicals or toxicity or polluted air or things off-gassing in our homes affects people. And over the years, I have really, really gotten even more committed to this message of people. And it was funny because I was asked to write a piece in the National Association's blog, I guess they really call it. And I was very honored that they asked me to write a piece for this. And if y'all want it, I'll put the link in the show notes. But they ask us, let me just kind of read part of this because it's really, really kind of grabs how I think today. And then I want to share with you some things I wrote 10, 12 years ago, and then talk about how this matters for you, how this evolution can really hopefully take part in your life. And so this article starts off, it's called Women Want Sustainable and Healthy Homes, How 4 Female Members of the National Association of Home Builder Deliver. And it starts off, women hold 92% of the purchase influence when it comes to buying a home and are keenly interested in features that positively impact their family's health and well-being. In honor of Earth Day, 4 women from NEHB's Professional Women in Building Council and Sustainability and Green Building Subcommittee share how they have shaped their careers and or businesses by including healthy and sustainable practices and strategies and found success. And one of the women is a builder and remodeler and a mom. I think all of us are moms, so we have that coming too. Another one of the people in the article is Jillian Pratard Cook, who I work with quite a bit. She's the founder of Wellness Within Your Walls, and she and I actually have another podcast. There also was a woman named Carla Butterfield, who is the sustainability director at a company that verifies and certifies all kinds of homes. So it was really, really interesting to hear all of our different perspectives, and they were all related, and they were all about people. So here's mine. My commitment to sustainability is first and foremost a commitment to people. By showing people the peace of mind experienced living in a home built or improved sustainably, we focus on people's comfort and health. We focus on people. Healthier choices for each of us are almost always healthier choices for the larger community and vice versa. For instance, energy-efficient homes with balanced ventilation provide healthier indoor air for the residents and also use less power, resulting in less utility emissions in the community. Showing people through stories and messages that these choices impact individuals and the community is vital to connecting each of us to the larger story of sustainability. One definition of sustainability is meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I care about people, my children and future grandchildren, my family and friends, my community, and people I may never meet. So helping people to understand and take action for healthier, more sustainable outcomes is in my nature. It's all about the people. And that really does sum it up for me. And I've started really, my message has really moved to that. And so much of my work has really moved to that. But what was so funny to me is that I went back and pulled a piece that I did a video for, it's been 10, 12 years ago. And here's how it starts out. You know the story. Drop a pebble in a pond and watch it create a seemingly endless ripple effect. It always amazes me that the ripples seem to go on forever, touching so many things in their path. And that's how I feel about green. Green is the pebble, and the ripples touch so many things. While green is a loaded word these days, to me, it embodies mindful choices, using what we have wisely, and most of all, common sense. To me, green just feels right. So one facet of green is our homes, be it a new green certified home or just greening up our home and living habits. Each action, big or little, counts. Just as many drops in a bucket still make a bucket of water, green living, building, and remodeling adds up too. Each of us can take some action to improve our homes and living environment. While green actions do impact the environment, to me, more importantly, they impact the people and communities around me. We have a chance to do this, one home at a time. So this isn't anything new for me. And that was kind of a relief because when you've worked at something for so long, you feel like you really understand what your message is and what you're talking about and your passion, and so many other things come up. So it was a relief to know that has been a constant. Not that I expected it not to be. So how do you figure out yours? How do you put this idea of beliefs and values to work for you? And I think it really starts with some personal evaluation, but let's talk about this in terms of your home. So understanding that your home impacts you, the community, everyone around us is the first step. And you have to be okay with doing what you can. I'm a big believer in grace, that we can't all be perfect all the time. So I shoot for 80% of the time to follow the way I want to do things. And that gives me some grace for that other 20% when things just don't go according to plan, or there's some last minute need that absolutely just doesn't fall in line with my values. So for instance, I am working diligently to cut down plastic, but I also, we were just two of us in this home, and a lot of times things get brought in groceries in particular in plastic. And it's in the winter, especially hard to not do it. So I work to cut down in other areas. So I take my own grocery bags in. I work hard not to get takeout in plastic. Again, that's been hard recently. But there's other ways that I can balance that out. And maybe the balance is time. There may be times when you can be much more on point with what you really believe in, and then the times that you can't. It's okay. So do come into all this with grace for yourself, for the people around you. And as much as it is all a teaching moment, there's been times when I've had to bite my tongue because it's not appropriate. And I don't personally do a great job of teaching. I don't want to be that person that's teaching at the wrong time, but I do want to be a good example. I especially have worked hard to be a good example to my children and to other people in my family, to the point where they now apologize to me. For instance, throw something that's recyclable in the trash can, and then I may get that, oh my gosh, I know that's recyclable. And it's okay. In the grand scheme of things, we're all aiming to do better. So anyway, back to how you can get started. So first of all, evaluate. What do you believe? What are your big three values? And as you have heard from me, it is people. It is helping people. This has been something that's been part of my life for all of my life, as far as I can remember. And part of the reason I have been doing Green Home Coach is to help you find out how you can help yourself and how you can help others. So whether it's for your own home or for your clients or your next door neighbor or whomever, you will be aware of better things that you can do to have a healthier, more comfortable living experience in life and in your home. And, I center on the home. So we're going to talk a lot, as we do, around homes and living in them. So first of all, think about what's really important here. So for me, first, it's people. And then it is doing as much as I can to not waste stuff. That's really a big one for me. Waste is, I do not like waste. So I have worked to find ways to reduce waste in our home, in our life. Wasted time is probably the hardest one. So that's a work in progress for sure. And then for me, it is to, really to share what I know with other people. That's my third thing. And sharing your superpowers. That's huge, 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 huge. And one of my superpowers is I am a great translator and I'm a great connector. And I love the ability to do both of those. And that's what I bring to the table in all these concepts that I teach you. There are now a lot of people starting to talk or have been talking about this whole concept of green and sustainability and health and wellness and comfort in homes. When I started all this, it was still kind of novel and it was still environmental and eco-friendly and tree hugger. And, you could have all kinds of pictures in your mind, and that's become mainstream. And while we don't all have it, or we don't know we have it, it's part of the main conversation going on right now. And for a lot of reasons, climate change, our infrastructure, social justice issues, health and wellness issues. COVID has brought a lot of this to point. So all of this has come in, and there could be a huge discourse on all of this, but I think it's important for all of us to know what we believe and live as much as we can to what we believe, and then to have grace, especially with others. That too is my work in progress. You probably don't have the time, resources, or know-how to research and shop for better options for you and your world. That's why I've done it for you. The Everyday Green Home Shop is my curated collection of better products for a safer, healthier, more comfortable life in your home. Through simple buying choices, you can change your home easily. My book laid out the how to do it. Now, the Everyday Green Home Shop gives you a place to put those ideas into action with your buying choices. I invite you to look through the online shop and choose an item or two to swap for something you usually buy for your home. Once you make a selection, it will take you to one of my trusted affiliate sites or the Amazon site you already use. Super easy. Products on Everyday Green Home range from indoor-outdoor rugs made from recycled plastic to my husband's favorite reusable silicone straw that fits in his pocket. I look for third-party independent green labels or go through a trusted third-party verification process to validate the products I curate for you. Go to everydaygreenhome.com for what you need to create a stylish, safer, and healthier home easily. So if you guys have not yet seen this, I wrote a book called Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home. I actually wrote it a few years ago. And if you want to see video synopsis of each of the chapters, join my Facebook group. It's called Love Your Everyday Green Home. You'll need to request to join it, but it's complimentary to my listeners of my podcast. And we really kind of review the book there's, I think, 7 different modules when we talk about it. And you know what's crazy is that it's not crazy. Everything we talk about in here still applies because these basic concepts haven't changed. How we fulfill them, or the technology, or some new thing that helps us to meet a particular way we want to live in our homes, yeah, that may happen. But the basic idea, the basic concepts of how we live better in our homes, that hasn't changed. And so we really kind of look at it in that light. And there's some additional modules in the Facebook group that go through that even more. But what was the most fun about writing this book was putting my beliefs into action. And action probably should be one of my top 3, but it came out share, but that's kind of action, right? But taking action is huge. And we can believe all we want, but if we don't take action, nothing's going to happen. So that's the other side of the key. Know what you think and then take some action. And knowing what action to take is what I aim to help you do with your home. Let me give you a little teaser of the book. Welcome. Come in. I'd like to talk with you about green homes and why they are the very best homes of all. When you decide you want one, we'll talk about how easy it is to green your own home. Side note, did you know that? Okay, back to the book. And if you should win the lottery and get to choose your own dream green home, we can talk about that too. It's all in here. Are you ready to become a green home expert? Good. Come on in. The first home was cave. Not the most comfortable accommodation, but caves have some definite green attributes. The temperature stays at a pretty constant level despite the weather outside. By the way, something we all want. Location mattered. The sun shining on and into the opening could warm it by day, and a fire could carry on through the night. Caves provide protection from the elements and from danger in the neighborhood. But humans being human, the search for a more comfortable home was on. They built with grass or wood or stone, and some built teepees or yurts, which had the added bonus of being transportable. But no matter what style the home or the material used to build it, the needs of the homeowners were pretty much the same: comfort and safety balanced by convenience and cost. Not much has changed. So there you go. Beliefs in our home start with the basics. And figuring that out and what you can do is exactly where you can go once you know what yours are. And yours aren't going to be the same as everybody else's, and that's okay. But having the opportunity to live out your beliefs, I have learned, is something very, very fulfilling. And sometimes it's hard. And other times it's very natural. And there's times that we have to make trade-offs. And we can't do everything we want. And there's times that we have to pick 2 options that neither of them are great. So we pick the one that is sometimes the least bad. And I find that with a lot of things and choices in my home. So one of the things that's been extremely helpful to me, I'm going to put a plug in here for Jillian, again, who I talked about earlier. The Wellness Within Your Homes program actually teaches that you can look at things in different lights, materials, and different parts that you bring in for your home and your furnishings. So they may be natural, they may be sustainable, or they may be responsible. And natural Well, that one's kind of easy in its natural state, the way it came from the earth. So this might be wool to use in a rug or in a covering for a piece of furniture or a bed. And then you have things that are sustainable, that they can be renewed. So think of something made from a tree, or bamboo is even a better one because bamboo rapidly renews. Trees are a resource that is getting used a whole lot. It's a whole nother topic, but bamboo is a very fast, renewable, and strong. And we're starting to see bamboo in more and more things. There are trade-offs with bamboo. Don't take me wrong. I'm just using it as an example, but it can be a good trade-off. And then responsible says, I understand that there are chemicals and things that may not come, that maybe there's a recipe to make things. And I am choosing the very best, least harmful things I can. And in this condition, this is what a lot of our materials that come into our homes are made of: recipes of stuff, mixing different things together in chemical stews. Or maybe there's chemical and synthetic and natural materials mixed together. So it's really hard to know what's in this stuff. There's a big effort afoot for better labeling, so we know where things come from, the different ingredients that are in them, where they come from. Are they made with equitable labor? Are people paid a fair wage? So there's this whole big stuff about figuring out what's best for your home. And I actually happened upon a library of materials. It's actually used a lot by architects. It was called Mindful Materials, and it is this huge database, all kinds of building elements and components and finishes that can be used in a building or home, and with their impacts, their environmental impacts, their health impacts, their off-gassing. So it's for teams that are building and bringing all these materials in, a great resource to go figure out, are you using the best for that particular project? But the number of items in there is staggering, and it's a lot, which is why professionals get a chance to use it. So, okay, now I've made it sound staggering. So what do you do? What actions can you take? And this is where you get a chance to start small. It starts, pick 3 things in your home. Everybody always asks me, what are your top 3, Marla? For me, it's the top 3 things I did and continue to do is LED light bulbs everywhere I can in my home. I still have a few leftover CFLs that we'll replace with LEDs when they burn out, and I can recycle them. And yes, please recycle CFLs. They have a little bit of mercury in them. So we want to make sure they are responsibly managed once they are no longer usable. And if you still have incandescent lights in your house, you guys, you're going to throw them away whether they work or not. So go on and save the energy and the money and get some LED light bulbs. LEDs can also be recycled and should be responsibly disposed of. Many electronic battery stores, big box stores will take LED lights as well. They are an electronic component, so they are essentially disassembled and parts are recycled, much as they are on any other electronic component. So anyway, for me, number 1, LEDs. Number 2, green cleaning products. Why green cleaning products? Well, this is probably the one that gets talked about the most in all the green living podcasts and blogs and sites and everything else, because it's something we all pretty much do is clean. And if we're not cleaning our homes, we're cleaning our bodies, cleaning our clothes. So getting the extra chemicals out of those cleaning products is so much better for our health and so much better for the place where it's manufactured. So there's not byproducts that are harmful to the community. It's better for the people using them, obviously, but it's also better for anything that goes into our water system, for the wildlife that depend on that water system, and for us, because a lot of that ends up as drinking water. So all of this is related. Connecting the dots is one of the things that we've got to do a better job doing, and helping people to understand that decisions that you make for your individual health also impact the community and the larger world around us. It's kind of a concept that we're just starting to hear a lot more, but it's super, super important. So as you're making choices in your home, oh, wait, I didn't get to number 3. Number 3, everybody always kind of chuckles at me. Use tree-free toilet paper. Do you know what tree-free toilet paper is? You don't have to use a bidet, but that's a good option too. And we're starting to see a lot more bidets in the States. You can even buy a bidet toilet seat to put on top of your existing toilet and get a clean bum that way. But we have been quite addicted to our toilet paper in the United States, as seen by the toilet paper rushes during COVID. So what's that? What's the deal with toilet paper? And if you look at the back of a lot of toilet papers, they'll have a symbol on them like FSC, or I think the other one is PE. Oh, heavens, I can't remember. But you'll see a little symbol that says it's got responsibly forested wood products in it, which is a step in the right direction. But does it make any sense that we are cutting down big trees to make toilet paper? Not to me. So we use either recycled toilet paper or toilet paper made from responsibly sourced bamboo. And I've got a couple favorite brands out there, but I'm even seeing it in the drugstores now. So there's a lot of options that are coming around. Again, it's got to be what makes a difference for you. But for us, toilet paper was still part of our household, so we wanted to not be impacting virgin trees to use to wipe our bums and flush down the toilet. So there's my speech. Enough said. So applying your beliefs to your home, it can be done. Every decision you make in your home can be made in light of your values and your beliefs. So for instance, with this going for healthier, more comfortable kinds of things in your home, let's go for health and wellness, for instance. We recently had our carpets cleaned. We do have carpets in our sleeping areas, and my office is technically a bedroom. So you do see carpet down here if you're watching the video. And our older dog, who passed away a few years ago, had gotten sick in here quite a bit. And now our new dog, of course, wants to market. So we needed to have the carpets cleaned, but I did not want to use a chemical cleaner. So we did find a company that cleans completely with the chemicalized water that is actually a very effective cleaner and can even be used as a sanitizer in certain situations. And they have a process, they come in and it's enzymatic as well, but no synthetic chemicals. And I'm super sensitive to smells, so that was helpful. We did air it out while they were doing the process just to get all the stuff that was coming out of the carpet, out of the house, because that was what was being pulled out. But that was an example of me making a different decision than just calling the same people that I would have called in the past that might have brought in detergents and other soaps and other chemical synthetic products to clean our carpets, which I did not want. So there are decisions to be made for everything. If you have a question about a specific one, you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook. You can respond on the podcast or on the show notes, or you can go to our website and email me. There's a contact form on the Green Home Coach website. So in closing, I wanted to give you an idea of how your beliefs can play to your advantage. And I do get my newsletter out. Okay, I have not been very regular. If you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, by the way, you can go to the Green Home Coach website and sign up for any of my freebies, and it will also get you on the list. And we're getting ready to start an email to keep up to date with the podcast. So stay tuned and look for that as well, because that way you will be notified when there's a new podcast out. So almost a year ago, the end of 2020 is when I wrote this. And I'll just read it. 2020, that is one loaded number, a year full of crazy. Personally, we were just starting to peek out of our own crazy, and then the whole world just crawled in there with us. We chuckled early in the pandemic that we could give stay-at-home lessons after the stay-at-home we'd learned with my husband's medical crazy and recoveries. Many moons later, we had much to be grateful for and much to be hopeful about and many lives to remember. It's kind of weird that life keeps going on even when it seems like everything else stops. So just in our family and close friends, 2020 has brought graduations, virtual, starting college, on campus with online classes, weddings, small, online and both, new babies, bundles of much needed joy. And we got another baby this year too. I got my first grandbaby. Big O birthdays and an anniversary, outdoors, online and small, surgeries, shoulder and knees, not the same person, funerals and memorials, small, online, and both. Like many others, we grew some of our own food, frequented the outdoor markets, took lots of bike rides, discovered our favorite place to walk, adopted a pet, cleaned out, cleaned up, discovered curbside pickup and deliveries, learned how to FaceTime Zoom with ease, and so much more. We've chosen to celebrate the silver linings of this year. Time together, time to slow down, time to reconnect with family and friends, time to hope. It's been a rough, tough year in so many ways, yet there have been many miracles. Life is still happening. And with that, I wish you the best in finding and connecting your beliefs and values to your actions. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you and have a great day. That wraps this episode of the Everyday Green Home Podcast. Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Ready to get started? Get more information, how-tos, and resources in my private Facebook group, Love Your Everyday Green Home. See you there. And remember that living a little better and a little greener is easier than you think.